I feel very welcome. Thank you very much. Over here, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do I have to hold this? To stand on established protocols. Excellencies, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to be here today to witness the opening of this significant conference on the National Dialogue on Security and State Police, organized by the House of Representatives of Nigeria. As the ambassador of Germany to Nigeria, it is a special pleasure for me to witness this important step towards fostering dialogue and exploring potential avenues for enhancing security in Nigeria. The discussions surrounding the potential introduction of state police demonstrate the complexities and challenges inherent in addressing security concerns. Let me underline at this point that the question of how to structure the Nigerian police, whether through a federal or state structure or both, is one that only the people of Nigeria can answer. The people represented by the Venerable National Assembly will reflect in its decision its commitment to charting its own path towards ensuring the safety and well-being of its citizens, as was just promised by the Honorable Deputy Speaker. In my home country, Germany, each of the 16 federal states have their own state police, their own police laws, and their own police training institutions. We will hear later in the conference in more detail about our experiences with this structure from my compatriot, the former German IGP, Mr. Seeger. Until then, suffice it to say that we have made both positive and also other experiences with state police. While the localized knowledge of state police is an advantage, the difficulty of coordination, competing mandates have often been a challenge. In my opinion, it is therefore less the structure itself that makes the difference, but rather how effective the respective police force is and operates. The good news is both structures can work. While the decision regarding the introduction of state police is yet to be made, the mere consideration of such a significant policy shift requires careful deliberation and comprehensive planning. Any such decision must be informed by a thorough assessment of its potential implications on security dynamics, mandates, financing, training, equipment, jurisprudence, and the rule of law. Today's conference does just that. It reflects on the wider-reaching consequences of the introduction of state police would have, and deliberates the potential advantages and disadvantages. It will therefore serve as an important platform for stakeholders to engage in dialogue, exchange perspectives, and jointly explore strategies for addressing Nigeria's security challenges. By bringing together representatives from government, civil society, and international community, this conference embodies the collaboration and careful reflection that the question of state police requires. I congratulate the organizers for putting together such a comprehensive and high-level conference. As Nigeria navigates these complex decisions, it is imperative that the principles of accountability, transparency, and respect for human rights remain at the forefront of any such security-related measures. The establishment of effective, inclusive, and accountable security institutions is essential for building trust and fostering stability within society. As a steadfast partner of Nigeria, Germany remains committed to supporting the country in its efforts to enhance security and promote sustainable development. Within our police reform program, implemented by UNDP, together with our partners from GS Foundation, Germany has supported Nigerian governments in their reform efforts for several years. The reform has already shown tangible results and effects, with improved training, equipment, more proactive communication, internally, externally, with support to the strategic planning of the police reform within the NSA's office. This conference today is partly a product of our collaboration. We stand ready to provide assistance and experience where needed, whichever way the Nigerian sovereign decides to structure its police forces. In closing, I extend my gratitude to all participants for their valuable contributions to this conference. I would also like to thank UNDP and their support to setting up the conference, made the discussions held here today, pave the way for meaningful progress towards a safer, more prosperous future for all Nigerians. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we have in the room former presidents, leaders in the parliament, members of the federal government, traditional leaders. So I will also follow the example of my predecessors, so I ask you permission to stand on the existing protocols for the sake of time. Excellencies, I am deeply honored on behalf of the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, to join this critical dialogue on security and state police. Allow me to commend you and your administration for the great leadership and the profound investments that you continue to make in consolidating Nigeria's peace and security. Before I proceed with my goodwill message, I would like to pay my respects to our gallant men and women who recently paid the highest price on the line of duty, ensuring the safety of this great nation. May their souls continue to rest in eternal peace. Kindly allow me to also applaud the esteemed members of the National Assembly for convening this conference and for their appreciation of the varied perspectives and insights of institutions, actors, and the wider population on the topic of security and policing in Nigeria. This topic resonates deeply with the sentiments and aspirations of Nigerians and has ignited conversations across the country, sparking debates and hopes for a safer and more just future. From a UNDP perspective, Excellencies, security is a development issue, and we strongly believe that Sustainable Development Goals, the SDG, in this case, number 16 on peace, justice, and strong institution, is a foundational goal that underpins all the other goals to be achieved. Therefore, the prospect of a state-level policy architecture, which is at the heart of this dialogue, is paramount, given the imperatives of addressing the scourge of crime, insurgency, and various forms of violence that are impacting on Nigeria's development trajectory, thereby presenting a threat to the well-being and safety of all citizens. Excellencies, as we explore the prospects of state-level policing, I would like to also reiterate the multidimensional nature of security that challenges all of us to significantly address the complex structural root causes of insecurity. It is on this basis, Excellencies, that I would like to commend your administration for outlining the 8-point plan under the Renewed Hope Agenda. This plan provides a development blueprint which, if we all as partners align to, could complement ongoing efforts to bolster responses to insecurity. As I conclude, Excellencies, I would like to outline 4 key points for consideration as we advance the discussions on security and state policy. First, the need to promote the implementation of Nigeria's development offer in addressing the drivers of extremism through the Renewed Hope Agenda. Second, the imperatives of connecting the durable development solutions and the triple nexus humanitarian development peace approach as a pathway to local responses to terrorism. Important aspects for a concerted effort include, but are not limited to, A, fostering community engagement and trust through open dialogues, neighborhood watch initiatives, and tailoring interventions to local needs, especially the crime peace and security nexus. B, enhancing training and equipping of officers. And C, strengthening cybersecurity capacities to minimize cyber-enabled terrorism. Third aspect, the need to address governance deficits, particularly the manifestation of extremism activities in ungoverned areas, by promoting effective policing, rule of law and justice mechanisms, and others, as well as governance of natural resources and associated benefit-sharing mechanisms. Fourth, the importance of incorporating regional approaches into our reflections due to the regional dynamics at geopolitical levels. Thus, paying attention to dynamics in the continent, such as in Lake Chad Basin and in the Sahel. Once again, on behalf of the United Nations Development Programme, I want to congratulate Your Excellencies and your administration and reiterate that as we embark on the course towards state policy, let us draw inspiration from successful models around the continent and beyond, while remaining mindful of Nigeria's unique socio-cultural context. A generous funding from the Federal Republic of Germany has been crucial for these achievements, and we sincerely thank them in this area. We, as UNDP, remain committed to supporting these efforts towards inclusive dialogue, soliciting input from diverse stakeholders and leveraging the collective intelligence of Nigerians in reimagining policies for a safe and secure Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
It's a pleasure. I'm delighted. We do have the former presidents who are here, as well as their Royal Highnesses and distinguished excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to congratulate the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and Mokbe, yes, it is the People's House. They have done quite a lot in terms of the work that they have been charged under the Constitution to do, to make laws, to represent us, and to carry out oversight responsibility. I'd like to thank the Right Honourable Speaker for convening this discussion on state police. It is a very important conversation going on around the country today, how to reimagine our security system, some even say security architecture. I think that when we look at the police, we do recognize the fact that their role in providing security in this country is enormous, that the Constitution and indeed national resources has not provided as much as should be provided for the police to do its responsibility. In 2020, the National Assembly, and I'm happy that the two chairmen of the Police Affairs Committees in both the House and Senate are here, Senator Hali Rujika and Honorable Usman Kumo, led the repeal of the 1943 police law in the country, the Police Act. That act was 77 years old, and the National Assembly in 2020 passed a new Police Act, which is still in implementation, and there are indeed lots of gaps in terms of the implementation of that, and the conversation is now, how do we ensure that the Police Act is amended? If you look into the files that some of you may have, this is the bill that the Deputy Speaker refers to, and this is some analysis of what that bill says. And I do know that around the country there is a whole lot of conversation around how we can get the police to be much more effective. I won't go into any particular conversation on either side of the divide, but there are lots of people who are very, very anxious that the police be reformed, that the police be given more powers, be given more responsibility. Perhaps that the way to go might actually be to decentralize the police in a way that ensures that the decentralization of the police safeguards it from abuse. A lot of people are, of course, worried that if you hand over police to state governors, that could pose a major source of concern as well because of the politically partisan nature of governors. So I think that in the conversation that will happen, and I'm happy that the two chairmen of the Constitution Review Committees in the Senate, Senator Barrow and the Right Honorable Speaker, Deputy Speaker, Benjamin Okezie are here, that this would be a major subject of conversation as the Constitution Review efforts go forward. And I think, Right Honorable Speaker, it is quite a spectacular idea that this conversation is thrown open as a thematic issue as we go on with the constitution debate issues, and that you have taken the lead in putting this forward for the country to discuss. Certainly we do expect and hope that the review of the constitution that will happen will produce some significant difference in the way that the country is policed. And I think at that stage, we'll all agree that National Assembly would have done justice to this. And those are a few welcome goodwill remarks that I do have to make. I do thank everyone who is here. I do particularly thank the UK Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, who continue to partner with the Policy and Legal Advocacy Center as we work in support of strengthening the Nigerian legislative system. Thank you so much.